Go.
Welcome to the Javier Mendez podcast. We are back, ready for another great week of fights. And you just dealt with a whole bunch of fights over there in the Saudi Arabia, Dubai area with the PFL MENA. And now you have three champions. Congratulations. With Gaji, Usman, and Islam all at the same time. Different leagues, too. That's pretty wild. That's the first of your first to do it like that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the first of the first, but it's this is all Khabib's father's students. I'm part of the crew, but this is Khabib's father that had all these guys. This Khabib was his father's, Islam was, and Gaji, same thing. So I'm fortunate enough to be with them, but it's not like I grew these kids up. His father did. So that's why
Abdominal.
Because this is father's plan. I don't know why I can't do this properly, but you see my shirt? My shirt says father's plan. I can't show it right. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Don't forget it.
Well, it's just the internet, and we are doing it transcontinental.
Complete father's plan. That's why I wear the shirt. That's why I talk about it, because to honor a great man. And I get the benefits of what somebody else started. So it's only right that you acknowledge that it isn't you. Yeah, you're part of the journey, but
You're affiliated and part of the process.
I'm affiliated. Yeah. The main person that was responsible for these young guys is Khabib's father. Yeah. They were his students, and I just happened to get the benefit of that. Yeah, sure, I had my value, but let's not forget whose students they really were. They weren't mine.
Well, different than your homegrown AKA champions when you had Luke, DC, and Kane.
Yes, and all the other ones that I had, and this what's fair is fair, and what's right is right. And the thing of it is that Team Nurmagomedov is Team AKA. We're one and the same, just like TriStar was with Greg Jackson. It's the same thing because I'm part of both gyms, so. I get the benefit of both, like if AKA grows some stars with my son, Jeremy, and Cain Velasquez and Ron Kessler, I get part of that too. So I'm kind of like double dipping, if you think about it, and I am part, but let's face it, I'm not at home either at AKA, Jeremy, my son, and Ron Kessler and Cain and, all these other guys, Tomas Diagni, and Clint Cornell. Those guys are all holding the fort over there. I'm not there. I've been most of the time here in Dubai. So, I can't say, oh, I'm building. What am I building? I haven't been there, I mean, I go where Team Khabib basically are selected people we go with. I'm there.
Well, if anything, you could be a great good luck charm because they keep winning. So at the minimum, you're that. But I know you do more than that. I'm not devaluing anything that you do. I know what you do. I've been around you. But I understand how somebody comes prepackaged from their infancy. I mean, like tiny kids, 5 years old on up. I mean, born and raised to be the warriors.
Yeah. The father, the great one did that with him. I'm just, I just come in and I've been handed the reins to somebody that put in all the work, So, and they have a great coach in there at home with Magomed and Safe Sapula, so all those guys are incredible coaches, and I'm sure there's other coaches that I don't know are there. They have a great camp. I think they're number one. I've been saying it, that I've been saying it for about 2 years. People don't know about it yet, but that's the greatest team in the world. And now, who can deny that?
Who can deny it?
Nobody can. Do whatever you want. You can't deny it. They have 2 PFL champions, Timur Imam, we call him. He won the featherweight, with Lachlan. He just destroyed Lachlan like nothing, and I knew this kid is so goddamn good that he did everything, and then of course Gaji did perfect, against Brett Primus, who's super super tough. We fought him 3 times with Islam Mabadov. We lost a close decision, and then of course with Usman was not a close decision. It was a wipeout, and of course, Gaji knocked him out, so we fought him 3 times, and I know how tough he is. He's a hell of a fighter, and, we knew we were up against. So, and then the thing about Gaji that people don't know is, and they should know if they look at his Instagram. He had a broken hand in training camp. His hand was in a cast. 2 weeks out before the fight, he took the cast out. So he didn't really get to spar because he didn't, because no mitt work, no this, one-handed only type thing. So he didn't really get to do very much. So kicking and cardio and stuff, but the actual really live grappling with the cast, not too good. So it's amazing. I didn't know. They didn't tell me. Because a lot of times these guys don't tell me nothing. They just do their thing. And next thing you know, I'm like, oh, okay, no problem. We just adjust and go. But it was pretty amazing. But my night didn't start out good. My one kid that I love to death, Muhammad Alkara, I was thinking for sure we got a Arab superstar, and I still hold to that. But unfortunately, he ran into a bad situation, and he got hit with a good shot. When he went in for a shot, he got grabbed behind the back of the head. The guy that hit him, a super, super powerful guy, and he hit him right in the chin, and it went out. But I still hold my beliefs that this kid is something special, and we'll see more. It happened to Islam too. Islam got knocked out too, and it's just sometimes, look, in the fight of MMA, the fight game, there's really, in my mind, that I can recall, only one undefeated legend. One. That's Khabib. The other one that's undefeated, that's a legend, is Jon Jones, but he has not retired yet. So we're not going to know if he's going to retire undefeated or not. He's not retired, but there's only one person that has a zero to his thing, and that's Khabib. No one else does. So you can. I told Mo, I go, you can be one of the greatest without being a zero, because realistically, I mean, it's almost an impossibility, and it's proven by all the great champions that have fought, and they are regarded as some of the greats. They have losses, so it was a tough thing for Mo. I mean, he was very emotional, and he was a man. It was a heartbreaking, and that's the thing about the fight game. Sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail, and we were.
It was I could see why you were betting on him. And this other guy, I looked at his record. He had some knockouts. He had a lot of losses, but he was a guy that was starting to win again, starting to compile his wins together again with his hands. And maybe he figured out his little magic touch for a minute. But
he believed in himself. He believed in himself, and I thought were going to go worse for him, because Mo was going to pick up the steam. But he made one error. Made one error, exposed himself on the takedown on the wrong side, and I grabbed him from behind the back of the head, left hand behind the head, and boom, boom, short shots.
Yeah.
Hit right on the money. Combined with the grabbing the back of the head and going into the shots. What are you gonna say?
Double.
It was a legit stoppage, 100% legit. At that time it happened, I was like, because I didn't see it. The ref was in the way. So I didn't really get to see what the heck happened. And I'm thinking, maybe the ref stopped it. Okay, maybe he could have let it go on. But after rewatching it, no way. The ref did a great job in stopping that. There's no way he could have let that go on. That was justified stoppage. So after that, then, Gaji comes in and he does brilliant. And then, Imam Timur, the main event, I already knew what he was going to do. This kid's phenomenal. Just phenomenal. There's some people that are just natural, and they have it, and they're self-taught in how they fight. And that's this kid Timur. He's incredible. Incredible.
So what do you think about it makes me think for some reason why I'm going back to what we talked about a week ago, but what do you think about Aspinall and Jon Jones now that we've had time to let that settle in? Were you thinking about Jon Jones, the way he took out Stipe with busting his ribs with that kick? He's heavier, so his power must be up or damaging. At least those kicks, probably more powerful than they were at light heavyweight.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's got more weight, and from what I was told, he's learning from a really good Taekwondo instructor and putting in the hours. So Jon Jones is a master at training. The guy leaves no details untouched. Every detail on fighting, this guy does. Every detail. He is all about winning, and preparation is all about winning. Everything this guy does is all about winning. So I'm not shocked at all. And also, not making excuses, but just stating facts. Stipe hasn't fought in forever. He's 44. Hey, it starts happening. It happened with DC when he fought Stipe after he had surgery. It was never the same DC. So I don't know what Stipe looked like because I'm not in his corner, but being 44, I mean, we saw it with Mike Tyson. You know, I thought for sure Mike Tyson was going to show Jake Paul the power, and once he showed him the power, it was going to be like potentially lights out for Jake because Jake can't handle that. And then I saw the first round, and I only seen the first round, and I said, I don't want to see no more because I already knew that.
Mike Tyson's gait, the way he walked, his legs were shot, dude.
He's shot. It was shot. He couldn't come in, and I said, there's no way Jake Paul would just stay on the outside and pick him apart. I just saw the first round, and I said, okay, he's going to do this all day long. I already knew that Jake Paul won, but I didn't see. I just saw. I woke up to watch the end, and I said, oh, man. It's like, you know, I was like, okay, I saw the first round, and I said, okay, his legs were gone. I mean, right away I picked that up. I went, damn, you know, his legs are gone. It's like he wanted to come in, but he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. And on top of that, those 14-ounce gloves made a big issue. I made a big issue of that because I know I fought. You know, we sparred a lot. 14-ounce gloves are sparring gloves. You know, they're not actual, you know, fighting. You know, competition. They're sparring gloves. You know, so to me that was a glorified sparring match more than anything.
Because they had big hand pillows.
Yeah. So, but the bottom line is this: got to understand, Jake Paul. He's been seriously boxing for all these years, and I had said it way back then. This guy's a serious athlete. He's taking boxing serious, unlike his brother, who doesn't take it as serious. His brother's good at marketing, selling himself, but Jake is great at marketing himself and actually being a real pro boxer. So there's a difference between what him and his brother do. His brother is good at marketing. He's good at this, good at that. But
Wrestling.
His brother is a pro wrestler type gimmick guy, and he's great. He's a great entertainer. But as a pro boxer, his brother is way behind Jake, way behind. I don't think his brother will ever be pro level boxing because he doesn't put the time in. Not that he doesn't have the ability, he just doesn't put the time in. Jake puts in the time, in and out. And think about this. This Disney kid comes out and he fights a legend. And yeah, you know, I mean, everybody was saying, oh, shame on you. You're fighting a legend that's 58 years old. You should be ashamed of yourself. And I'm thinking, man, these guys are crazy, man. Look at that power this guy has. And all of a sudden, I see the legs go. And I'm like, damn it. Everybody was right. I was wrong. There was no legs. And I'm like, I don't need to see no more. That was it. Done. Finished.
So how do you think, I mean, bouncing on these, we're going to go to this other card, but what do you think about how Aspinall matches up after watching John Jones move around at heavyweight in the ring? I mean, maybe Stipe wasn't the example you want to see to get that comparison, but what do you think?
Well, for me, it's like this. You know, I always thought Aspinall was going to be, I thought before that fight that Aspinall was the most dangerous guy. And I would never say that Aspinall will beat John Jones because that's baloney. You can't say that. You cannot say that. I actually favor I favor John to beat him. But I think it's a fight that for John, what is he needed for? He's already going to be considered the greatest, if not the second greatest. To me, he's the second greatest, but a lot of people are going to call him the greatest, you know. And the only reason for me is because I'm biased. I love Khabib, and I think Khabib's the greatest. But because what Khabib does outside, not just inside, you know, and his legacy and how many rounds he's lost, et cetera. But, you know, you can't neglect the longevity of John Jones. You can't neglect the two-weight division, you know, and how he just demolished the heavyweights. That both heavyweights he fought, he demolished them. So you can't discount that. So for me, if someone says he's the greatest, I'm like, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm saying, okay, that's his opinion.
I don't see, just personally after seeing that fight, I don't see Ngannou beating John Jones either. I'm like, everyone's trying to put that fight together.
I never did. I never seen anybody beating him. Honestly, I thought the only guy that had the best chance to beat him, and actually I thought Dominic Reyes did beat him, and I thought the Brazilian, the Hammer, I thought he beat him too. You know, and he had great fights with the Swedish guy. You know, Gustafsson. It was a great fight. I thought Jones won, but that was a really close fight. But I really did think that Reyes beat him, Dominic Reyes, and I really did think that the guy with the hammer on his mask.
I know you're talking about. He's a
Yeah.
big hammer in his chest of the tattoo.
Yeah.
And it's not Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, I thought he beat Jones too. But again, it doesn't matter what I think. The card said no, so there you go.
Right.
So I mean, and then also, like I said, when you're caught doping, to me, everything you've done doesn't count. I'm sorry, when you're caught like that kind of doping, it's different. It's not like some other guys that break some type of rules, some this, some that, which doesn't really enhance them, So that's different. But when you get caught with an enhancement type, real legit enhancement, that's one thing. And but anyways, enough about that. He could be considered the greatest. Doesn't matter in my heart. Khabib is.
I know what you're saying, and it's like time changes things too. Forever. I mean, in the ring, at least those rankings, those will change no matter what we do. Here's this other card. Pantoja Kai Asakura. Then we've got Shavkat Ian Gary, Cyril Gane, Alexander Volkov. This one will be interesting. Bryce Mitchell versus Kron Gracie, Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be that's a tough one. Kron Gracie, the last time he fought too much old style Gracie style, which is their heritage and what they did. So hopefully he's adapted to a more modern MMA style that's going to benefit him more, because you got to remember, this isn't there's no time limits back then. There's time limits now. It's 5-minute rounds, so you can't put a guy on the ground 5-6 hours type thing. So
three-hour Brazilian match in Brazil.
Yeah, you have to adapt to the changes, and hopefully this is Kron's a hell of a fighter. He needs to adapt to his game. So if it's just purely ground, okay, nothing else, no strikes, etc., Kron all the way. But when we're talking about the MMA scene, I think Bryce Mitchell has got something to say about that. So let's see. That's going to be very interesting. Very interesting fight. I really don't know.
Bryce Mitchell's got some nasty jiu-jitsu too.
He does. But I think just purely on jiu-jitsu, I go with Kron. Just pure jiu-jitsu, not MMA.
Okay.
Like that stand up and everything. I think that. So if it's just strictly a ground game, I give Kron the advantage. But let's see. It's an interesting fight.
What do you think about the Cyril Gane versus Volkov?
That's an interesting fight. Cyril Gane is very explosive, big guy. Volkov is 6'7", does a lot of those front kicks. His striking is not as sharp as Cyril Gane. That's a potentially Cyril Gane slightly favored, but anything could happen because they're both big boys and they both, they're both good strikers, but they're both known for striking, not for ground. So I'm gonna say that's a pick'em fight, but I'm thinking Cyril Gane, but that's a pick'em fight.
We'll see what he's like after that loss to Jones. Volkov's got a way to win. Cyril Gane was doing great up until that moment, so we'll have to see.
Yeah.
So then Shavkat versus Ian Gary. This is the real hitter, even though it's not the headline fight. But this is, because Gary's got a lot of that like Conor McGregor tension behind him, that type of stuff. And Shavkat's undefeated, humble, just dominator, and has a hat sort of like Khabib. So since he has one of those hats, he's probably good. What do you think? Do you think, do you know anything in the background of these two?
To me, that's the most interesting fight for me of this whole card, because you got two great undefeateds. Who's going to be the reigning potential title contender for Bilal Muhammad's title, and let's see. I mean, Shavkat is the more impressive of the two, but Ian Gary hasn't lost either. This is a fight. This is one of those fights that can go either way, and I'm pulling for an exciting fight. I don't really have a winner in mind. I just pull for an exciting fight. I mean, if I had to say you got to put your money on this, I probably have to go Shavkat, but I'm not going to be shocked if Ian Gary comes out and does what he does best, and he's pretty impressive. So this is a great fight. This is the most interesting fight out of the whole thing. I really don't know exactly. I mean, I can say who I want, but that doesn't mean that that I'm right. It just means who I want.
Yeah, we're just going with gut feelings. We're not providing any studied analytics with computers and stopwatches and stuff. You know what I mean? Punches per second, whatever.
If we're some kind of experts, I'm an expert for sure in training, okay, but I'm not an expert on picking fights. Because if I was a so-called expert, there wouldn't be no betting lines out there because people like me would destroy the betting lines and they wouldn't make any money. So obviously they have betting lines for a reason because we really can't pick. We can say we think this, we think that, but if that was the case, if I was right more than I'm wrong, then guess what? Come on board with me. Let me pick the fight secretly, and you'll make a ton of money. But obviously, there's betting lines going on everywhere because I'm no expert. With my guys, yes, I can tell you what my situation, what more likely can happen. Whether we have a good chance or a bad chance, we can lose too. But on my chance, my guys, I have a better percentage of understanding if we're going to win or not. For sure. But on other people, just because I'm good and I've been involved in the game for so long, no way. I mean, I've gone to the point sometimes where I picked on the main event. I picked almost every loser but one. so there you go. So I'm not no expert when it comes to other people. No way.
And there's another interesting. Well, I don't know. Aljamain Sterling was on this card. Did you know that?
No.
I think he's in the prelims. He's fighting Mosar Evloev, who's undefeated.
I don't know the undefeated guy. I never heard of him. So.
And the Vincent Luque, he doesn't get to fight against Nick Diaz. I guess he couldn't make it. Had some issues going on. But Themba Garimbo, he's fighting him. So that ought to be interesting.
Yeah.
And then Dominic Reyes is fighting Anthony Smith.
Dominic Reyes, Anthony Smith. Well, this is a good, I think second fight for Dominic Reyes since he's been off. So if Dominic Reyes can take care of Anthony Smith fairly quick, then Dominic Reyes is there. He's back, and then he's a title threat. So if Dominic can pull it off, and here I'm pulling for. I like him. Let's say I'll go on that one. I'm pulling for Dominic Reyes.
Well, that's it. What else you get going on? You get some new game that came out you were going to tell me about? I saw you on Instagram.
Yeah, it's called Game Plan. It's an interactive thing where basically the fans get to interact with the fighters and whatnot, and it's pretty cool. There'll be more about it. I just put it out there, but there'll be more out there. You'll see more as time goes on. It's called
what else is going on in Javier World? I'm not trying to give away any secrets or anything. So
Javier World is basically I'm going to Kazakhstan on Friday. Yeah, to go do some kind of tournament over there. We're going to some tournament with my partner, Said Mirza. And we're going to meet some diplomat type people, like governmental people. We're going to go meet some people over there and people too. So just to try to, do some collaboration and also watch jiu-jitsu tournament. They're giving the $1 million prize to the winner. So we're invited to do that. So that's one of the big reasons. Then I come back here to Dubai for one day. Then I leave back home on December 11th.
Yeah.
December 11th, I go back home and then train the guys. Mostly.
Nice long trips. Well, I hope you're having fun there, Jav. How's the weather?
The weather over here is fantastic, and then I went to like Saudi Arabia, wow. What are they doing over there? It's just the wow factor when that thing is done with what they want to do. Oh boy, it is going to be spectacular what they're doing there. It's unbelievable. They're building multiple cities. It's like crazy. I didn't realize that because the first time I went to Saudi I was in not the right area. This time around, I was driven around to at least one of the areas where they're building it. It's gargantuan, massive. It's like you're going, wow. When it's going to be done, I don't know. But it's massive. And they don't do anything small over there. They do some major money, major expenses, and they're basically, they're gonna, at the rate they're going, the money they're spending, they're gonna dominate a lot of the sporting worlds on events that they throw because, you know, they're doing it with the golf, they're doing it with the boxing, and they're doing a teeny bit. Now they're starting the MMA, and who knows what else they're going to be involved in. It's big. It's big. So then on January 25th, I come back here actually we come back here for Usman's fight, you know, on January 25th at Coca-Cola Arena, which will be a big thing. It'll be Usman's, you know, first fight in Dubai at Coca-Cola Arena for MMA. So that'll be, I'm in a big organization, in other words, so that'll be a big deal. So I'm expecting that one to be fairly packed a bit, you know.
Have you heard that Islam might be
packed a bit because you have I mean, over here, my guys maybe Islam might be what?
He might be. He's like he says I'll fight him if necessary. He was talking about Topuria. I guess somebody interviewed him.
Oh yeah, I saw that in the red corner. Yeah, he said. I mean, he's been saying what we've all been saying. I made a little thing with somebody in that clothing thing. They said, you know, do I think Topuria will fight Islam? And I'm like, well, if the UFC wants it, of course Islam's going to take the fight, but where's the benefit for Islam? You know, he's got 3 title defenses, and 2 are against Alex, which is a featherweight, and the other one against Dustin, which is the only real lightweight, you know, contender he fought. So if he fights Topuria and he beats Topuria, what does he gain? Oh, he just
keeps beating the division below him.
Another division below. So where's the benefit? There's nothing for him. What about Topuria? What does he get? All the marbles. He gets to fight pound for pound number 1, and he also has nothing to lose because he's not losing his title. He's going up for Islam's title. So guess what? He has everything to gain, nothing to lose other than the fight and his ego. Islam has everything to lose. So my thing is, hopefully the UFC at some point can put it together, the Sarukin fight, because Sarukin deserves the talk over anybody, in my opinion. So we shouldn't be talking about Topuria. We should be talking about Sarukin, you know, and the possibilities of when that fight gets made. That, you know, what do we think about that fight? That's the fight we should be talking about, not Topuria, because, you know, to me, the guy that deserves is Sarukin. He deserves the fight. He's earned this time to be there, and you know, let Islam fight, defend against a few people. Let Topuria fight against a few people, and then the UFC wants to put it, you know, then do it then, and let them keep jabbering at each other. You know, I like the way Topuria does it. He attacks the fighters, and that's cool. Hey, you want to fight this guy? Attack him. You want to do this? He does it. I mean, I like what he does. I'm a fan of his. Obviously, if we end up fighting, of course, I have to look at ways how we can beat him. But as of now, since we're not fighting him, I mean, I'm definitely going to watch him because he's impressive. He's fun to watch.
Yeah, it's funny. It looks like there's a lot of great stuff coming on. And it's been great to have you come back on here. So everybody, follow Javier at AKA JAV, and be sure to join us for our next podcast. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and thanks for coming on.